Barry Wakelin is the immediate predecessor of Rowan Ramsey in what has hitherto been the safe seat of Grey. It got a bit of a shake by the Nick Xenophon team as it was a couple of elections back. But Barry Wakelin has thrown his lot in behind the independent candidate Liz Habermann. So maybe it's Barry WOKE-lin, not Barry Wakelin.
On the Flow Morning Show, we continue our coverage of the federal election. Today we have a look at the seat of Grey, and with me is Ricky Lambert to look at some extraordinary claims being made by Barry Wakelin, a former sitting member in that seat. How are you, Ricky?
Good, thanks, Wayne.
What's Barry Wakelin entering the political debate? I thought Barry had long retired and got the carpet slippers on and had decided to do some good reading on John Howard and even Robert Menzies novels.
Yeah, Barry Wakelin is the immediate predecessor of Rowan Ramsey in what has hitherto been the safe seat of Grey. It got a bit of a shake by the Nick Xenophon team as it was a couple of elections back. But Barry Wakelin has thrown his lot in behind the independent candidate Liz Habermann. So maybe it's Barry WOKE-lin, not Barry Wakelin, Wayne.
Well, it's interesting because Liz Habermann's been regarded as one of the teal ones that have been put up for this election, has got some strong backing, and it looks like the In Daily newspaper has wrote a puff piece for her. And strikingly, it talks about, obviously, Barry Wakelin's support for her. It doesn't actually venture into any of the other candidates, the other like UAP, One Nation and others that are standing. So it does look like a backing piece for her. But strangely, these comments from Barry Wakelin that go into his opposition to the nuclear waste dump at his hometown of Kimber. And of course, Rowan Ramsey's hometown is Kimber, and he's strongly supportive of the waste dump in his town. So it does seem that this is the division point.
Well, it is. I mean, we've got the Adelaide media, and that includes In Daily, which purports to be a regional publisher. This article published out of Adelaide. They're all in a lather, the Adelaide media. There's been front page stories on the Advertiser about Liz Habermann's candidacy for the seat of Grey. They're trying to pump this one up and getting themselves all excited about something that I think on the ground, and that's why we've looked at the policy propositions and we've interviewed Liz Habermann, Rowan Ramsey. Liz Habermann said her priorities for the seat of Grey, so they can put it on the map, is climate change and an anti-corruption commission. That is very much in the teal category of what candidates are standing for. Barry Wakelin's comments to In Daily are remarkable, and I'm being kind. I mean, talking about, I'm not happy with the Morrison government because of all the debt they ran up due to COVID-19. Barry, are you saying that Labor would not have run up that amount of debt or more? I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's what governments around the world have done to get through the COVID-19 pandemic, and he's listed that as one of his reasons for really going teal.
Well, he says that he's electing an independent to the seat. Not that he will do the electing of them. I mean, he's voting for somebody. The one that is elected will be decided by all the voters, not Barry Wakelin. But he's saying that the current divisiveness in politics and that a woman would send a lot of messages about the contribution of not only women but families that have made in Australian history. I mean, these are extraordinary points. I mean, is it to say that the men that have been elected haven't made a contribution to family and Australia's history? This is, I think, almost commentary that is outside of the normal when one considers that policy is really what we're voting for here, not maybe whether he likes the person or not.
Well, my response to that is spare me. You know, just electing someone based on an identity attribute suddenly fixes things in Canberra. I mean, if people listen to the interview I did with Liz Habermann and with Rowan Ramsey, they need to make their own assessment, for instance, on whether Liz Habermann would be able to make good policy decisions on the very debt and financial and fiscal management issues that Barry Wakelin says is his reasons for backing her.
Well, in the defence of Rowan Ramsey, the sitting member, he's been strong for infrastructure. The Augusta highway duplication has begun. Then you go to mobile phone towers. He's announced that there'll be further towers at Wirrala, Sejuna Waters, Peekina, up in the mid-north near Bullaroo Centre. These are all very important to regional life, but he's also got some strong views on having that nuclear waste facility, and that it has to go somewhere, and it should be going in a regional area. So he has got an opposing view here. Obviously, it would appear that the Habermann campaign would be against the processing of nuclear waste in the electorate of Grey. Grey would seem to be the best location in the world for processing nuclear waste.
Well, we're talking just about storing it. I think there's no processing that's likely to happen, and it's just the low-level waste that's being derived from medical technology and places like Lucas Heights where they're running out of room for it. But I think this is the serious problem here, is that really what's implicit here from Barry Wakelin's backing of Liz Habermann is the acknowledgement that you do need independence in regional seats to get the investment and policy commitments from the major parties. But to be willing to throw your lot in with someone who would really, from what I've assessed, throw her lot in with Labor in a hung parliament situation really is a pretty desperate tactic to concede that there hasn't been good investment from the Liberal Party in seats like Grey and regional Australia in the past. By all means, we back independent candidates that will bring investment to seats because they've been neglected in regional SA and other parts of the nation for so long. But to take the risk with a candidate who is very much on the left side of politics from what we can see is quite concerning.
Okay, so there are other interviews that we're still going to be bringing you here on our Flow News 24 coverage of the federal election, including One Nation, United Australia Party, and we'll be following through with some of Rowan Ramsey's commitments for the seat of Grey, in addition to the content we've already brought on Liz Habermann's candidacy for this seat in the federal election.